Good evening, everyone in Rockdale County. Glad to have you join me this stormy Sunday evening. I had to reboot everything here a little bit ago, and just at 7:59, I got everything working back, and I was able to get everything on, and we're on here right now. So, by the skin of our teeth, we're coming to you live this evening from stormy Rockdale County. And you know what? It is stormy in Rockdale County. I'm talking more than just about the weather. So we're going to talk about a few things this evening. But first of all, I want to thank people for joining me this evening. If the chat's working, we're having issues with the features, comments not come up. I see we got people watching and everything. So if the stuff comes up, it comes up, and hopefully it does, and I can interact with you guys. But like I said, I had a little bit of issue even getting on this evening. Looks like my chat's not going to want to work, but I'm just glad that I'm able to communicate with you guys here tonight. And I'm assuming you're seeing me, and I'm going to actually move forward as if you are seeing me, because I don't have my chat availability right now. That seems to be down and out on me. But glad to have you guys. So, been an interesting week this week. As far as work goes, I've had a very busy week, but as usual, it's always crazy in Rockdale County. So I had a political candidate call me this week, and they were contemplating a run for office. And they were wondering, about filing and registering and such. And they were thinking about running as an independent. And they thought that they would have easy ballot access as an independent. And as I explained to the individual, doesn't work that way. There's a process that starts in January of the election year. That you would go to the Board of Elections, you would get the proper paperwork. They would tell you how many signatures that it's going to require for you to be able to run as an independent. Then you will have from January to a date in mid-July to collect those signatures. But in March, you still have to pay your qualifying fee. And this individual was wanting to run for one of the upper positions, which was going to, be $2,800 qualifying fee. So, that's a pretty good amount of money for you to put out, knowing you're probably going to have to collect 5,800 signatures. And that's no small task to do when, you don't have automatic ballot access as a third party or independent candidate. So, I explained to the person that, the two-party system, those parties protect their abilities to keep third parties off that ballot because they're afraid in a general election that there'll be enough of the majority party and the minority party will most likely vote 100% for that, independent or third-party candidate. There is a darn good chance that in a general election that a third-party non-affiliated candidate would be able to defeat the incumbent. So that's one of the reasons why in the party system, Democrats or Republicans, they don't really want third-party candidates to have easy ballot access. So when you hear people talk about ballot access isn't for everyone. Democrats and people who identify as Democrats and Republicans have somewhat easy ballot access. But if you want to run separate from the party affiliation, you're going to have a very difficult time getting that access. So that's what we're looking at right now. So we still don't have any chat stuff on here. I'm going to actually go and look on Facebook real quick and see if I have. Somebody told me I'm good, so you guys hear me, so that's good. So hey, yeah, I got it on this. I just don't have it on my thing. So let me look on the phone here. Charlotte, nice to see you. Clayton, Lisa, William Campbell, Judy Bond. So yeah, I got you guys on my phone here. I'll put it up there if somebody says something So apparently I'm going to see it on the Facebook chat, but not on my overlay here. So that's bad. So, but hey guys, why don't we do something here good tonight? Because this is going to be a very interesting show, and I hate that this um, chat thing's not going to work for everybody, but it will work if you're on the Facebook page. Nice to see you, Renee Simpson, Catherine Lynn. Share and like the show, because we're going to talk. We're going to talk tonight and get real. So I'm going to get real about some topics tonight, and it might hurt some people's feelings a little bit. Now y'all know I'm not afraid to hurt anybody's feelings. You know, it's the way it is. And, when people say things to me and, they don't care if they hurt my feelings. So, and it's not that I'm, just purposely wanting to hurt people's feelings, but I'm going to talk the truth. I'm going to say some things that are accurate, some truthful things. So share and like this show. Let's get this out here to some people. Let's let a lot of people be able to see this and hear what I'm going to say tonight, because I'm going to tell you, to me, when I was playing this in my mind, it makes a whole lot of sense what I'm about to talk to tonight. And I'm going to talk about what's the motive. What's the motive? What's the motivation? So, and when I'm talking about what's the motivation, I'm talking about our governments here in Rockdale County, our Board of Commission, Board of Education, City of Conyers. They make a lot of bad decisions. And those bad decisions directly impact you, the citizens, actually harm you, the citizens, outright harm you. And to me, I find it interesting. Why would a group of individuals purposely make decisions that are going to eventually harm the constituency and the individuals that they're supposed to be representing? Good evening, Danielle Munoz and Mary Bosworth. Nice to have y'all. Like I said, I'm looking on Facebook with the chats, guys, because my chat on my restream is not working, but I can see anything anybody says on the Facebook, and it'll be a little bit delayed coming up, but that's okay, because we're gonna get real here tonight. I think you guys are sharing this because the numbers are growing here on the all around board. So we're pushing a lot of people on here. So keep pushing them out there. What I'm going to say tonight is going to be the truth. So what is the motivation? What's the motive? Why would a group of individuals purposely make decisions that harm you, the electorate, the voter, the taxpayer? Let's talk about some of these bad decisions first. Let's just throw some of them out there. I think we go back to 2017 with Garbage Gate, when the chairman came up with this fantastic idea about they were going to do all this garbage program and fats and oils and greases, and they were going to come up with this program for this single source garbage thing to come in here. Now we've got some people saying money and greed. I think that's part of it, and I'm going to talk. Money and greed are definitely part of that motivation. They are definitely a big part of that motivation. So we had the Garbage Gate, and people got really angry about that, because that's something that they brought up a few years before, and people rallied about it and talked about it and didn't want it. And the same thing happened again. You had hundreds of people storm that Board of Commission thing when their garbage bills were going to go up from $20 a month to like $50, $75 a month. People said, "Oh hell!" They went, "Oh hell no!" That's what they said. They said, "Oh hell no!" And they stormed that Board of Commission meeting. They stormed it in groves, and they spoke against it, spoke hard against it. So then you had the $140 million bond initiative in 2018, where the county, the Board of Commission kept saying, well, this is all about judicial. There are just security problems. The courthouse is unsafe. This got to be rectified. This has to be done. This is the number one priority in the county. So they put out this $140 million bond initiative for you and me and every taxpayer to vote on. But it was so rough and loosey-goosey. And then when we dig into it, well, why was it $140 million? It was $140 million because we learned that was the max of the credit limit that they could borrow. That was every dime that the county had the capacity to borrow was $140 million. And they decided they were going to max out their credit, tell you it was for this judicial complex that we desperately needed and had to have. And they kept saying, well, are we just going to kick the can down the road again? Kick the can down the road again. Well, that judicial facility was defeated by you, the taxpayers. You said, no, we're not certain about this $140 million bond thing. You've not explained it well enough. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what these monies are truly for. And you wanted an explanation, and they couldn't give it to you, so you voted it down. And that was the right thing to do. Then they brought forth the courthouse committee right after that. And they brought forth, it was a large committee. They tried to even put a bunch of folks on it that didn't even live in the county. That was protested. Those folks got removed from it. And then we had a group of individuals, and a portion of those individuals actually thought they were supposed to actually look into this and actually find the best thing to do. So you had probably a third of that committee actually trying to do the right thing and really research and see what was going on, when the intent of the Board of Commission was to actually just steamroll something through. They even hired a consulting firm to attempt to steamroll this agenda through and to direct, and but you had some individuals on there who were independent and open minded, and they were independent thinkers, and that was a dangerous thing to put on that committee, was a group of independent thinkers, and they brought fresh and new ideas, and the two ideas they come up with was do it in Old Town, but renovate whatever and still spend $25 million or something, right? Build one at Parker Road, $25-30 million. Those were the two plans that the courthouse committee come up with. It was not a $140 million complex. So, so these guys go back to the drawing board again, and they come up with this again, and they enact this public facilities authority, this PFA, to where they're going to issue revenue bonds. So they're going to issue revenue bonds for something that doesn't create revenue. So first of all, this funding source makes no sense for what they're about to build. Then they put together a committee who met in secret. We found out there was a committee, exposed the committee. They acknowledged there was a committee. Then the committee met again, and in this time, they pretended to elect the board members, which they had already previously elected, and put them into position at their private meeting. So these are the kind of things that this county has done. They've made these bad decisions that negatively impact you and are unapologetic about it. Unapologetic about bad decisions that influence you. Let's talk about another bunch of bad decisions. It's tax increase after tax increase after tax increase. And they'll tell you they're not raising your taxes because they'll say it's your property values have increased and that's why your taxes are going up. We're not raising your taxes. Your property values are going up. Well, and then then they try to really confuse you with the millage rate and make it seem like it's something that's just so complicated you can't understand it. But trust us, let them, the Board of Education, City of Conyers, trust us. We're not raising your taxes. It just appears we're raising your taxes because the millage rate number goes up, but that's not really your tax rate. It's because your property values are going up. Well, that same millage rate calculation takes into account property values. So if they actually want to not raise your taxes, they adjust the mills to not raise your taxes and to not take advantage or not to capitalize on overinflated false property values. And that's what we have right now. We have overinflated false property values. My daughter is in the hunt for a house right now. She's looking all over the region and everything. You can't buy a house in this region for under $275,000 anywhere in this area, right? That's even going out into other counties up toward Winder, down over to Madison. I mean, there's nothing, a 3-bedroom. You don't buy a 3-bedroom under $275,000. Just don't. You don't get it. So you've got these overinflated property values Uh, Even the rollback rate, Charlotte, it actually gives you a tax increase because of the property values. You actually have to go below the rollback rate to actually eliminate a tax increase. Because this is just the way it works. Let's just say I paid $1,001 last year on my property taxes. If I pay $1,001.50, that's a tax increase. If I pay $1,001 this year and I pay $1,001 next year, there is no increase. Clayton, I agree. Our county budget should not be as volatile as the housing market. So when we're looking at this, when we're looking at all these property tax increases that the citizens of Rockdale County are, and not only Rockdale County, but it's all over Georgia. We have a property tax crisis all in Rockdale County. I mean, all across the state of Georgia and even in the United States. Property tax crisis. So, and this crisis is going to hit citizens in Rockdale County very heavily. Fastest growing population in Rockdale County, 64 and over. 64 and over are going to be people on fixed incomes who are going to have a finite income. So these are the people who are going to hit the hardest and impacted the most negative with these overinflated, out of control property tax increases. So when we look at this and we say, what in the world, why would these entities make such bad decisions that they know are going to harm you, the taxpayers and the citizens of Rockdale County? But remember, they are making these decisions. And if they say they don't know that they're going to impact you negatively, they are lying to you. They are outright not telling you the truth. They are lying to you. Bill going to get to that here in a second. Bill Campbell says, according to the BOC, we have an affordable housing crisis in Rockdale County. So, if this is the thing about it, guys, right now, there are some people that are homeless in Rockdale County, but it is very few. You can see some homeless individuals up around the West Avenue area, in the Old Town Conyers. I mean, but there are not a lot. I mean, and it is sad that there are any, but we do not have an overflow of homelessness in Rockdale County. That's just a fact. Somebody, show me different. Show me different. And you can't show me different because it doesn't exist. So, but we've approved, the county and the city have approved building these 4,000 additional housing units, which are mostly townhomes and apartments. So most everyone in Rockdale County already has a home. There are not 4,000 homeless people in Rockdale County. Then, do we really think homeless people can afford homes that are over $300,000? Because that you drive by every one of these complexes that are being built in Rockdale County, and they say homes starting at 300,000 over. So these individuals are not, homeless people are not going to buy a $300K home. So who are we wanting to buy these $300,000 homes? Are we trying to attract people to move to Rockdale County that can afford a $300,000 mortgage? Well, let's talk about it. We have one of the worst school systems in the state of Georgia. Fact, not making it up. Fact. They can give themselves all the fake awards they want to, but we have a dismal, failing school system in Rockdale County. We even have educators that watch this show that will tell you that Rockdale County is really an F-rated school system, that they are a failing school system, and that we are not going to get people. Plus, we already know the demographic that is the demographic moving to Rockdale County is 64 and older. So I don't think those individuals are going to be investing in these $300,000 apartment townhomes. So we've got these 4,000 units that are being built here. So it's the same thing as the Field of Dreams thing we've got going. If you build it, they will come. So by building these 4,000 units, we have consumed what small amount of of spare infrastructure that we did have as far as water and sewer capacities, because we built these areas in what I would refer to as the industrialized zone of Rockdale County, 5 miles one way or the other of the interstate. So that would be the area that we would have sewer and water readily available. But by building these complexes, we have maxed out any available capacity that anyone of any sort of business would have been able to come. Then also, you're talking about land, any amount of land that would have been large enough for something to move to Rockdale County, then you've consumed that land with these housing things. Then you bring a lot of more additional problems to Rockdale County by doing high density housing. We will increase drug trafficking. We will increase sex trafficking. We will increase crime in general, violent crime. Those things all follow high density housing. Look at the statistics. They will tell you that is factual. They will tell you that's the truth. And yet again, you have the city and the county making these bad decisions on purpose because there's a motive. And we had a couple of people talk about it earlier. Money and greed. And that is exactly right, because someone is going to benefit. Someone is going to profit. So it is an advantage for someone for these things to occur in Rockdale County, and that advantage and is financial advantage is what it is. It does not benefit you and I because it takes away resources that you and I have available to us. It stretches the ability of our police, fire, and EMS capabilities. Our hospital is already overstretched. My daughter had an appendicitis issue here this past 2 weeks, and it was just terrible. I mean, she's okay. They did, an admirable job, but you could tell their resources were stretched by how she was treated, right? So to me, I'm concerned about all of these things that we have in Rockdale County, because our government, our elected officials in all capacity, are not looking out after the citizens, the taxpayer, the voters' best interest. Now they're looking out after some people's best interest, what's best for some people, but they're not looking out what's best for all of us. And those are cold, hard facts. And let's talk about something else about the Board of Commission. So we've already seen these three individuals are making bad decisions knowingly that impact you and I. Well, in the last 6 years, they've went through over 30 high-level officials, high-level bureaucrats in Rockdale County, and that's director and assistant director and a deputy director level. So it's been over 24 directors, and the number's actually probably more near 40 than 30. And I'm going to say, when you combine director and deputy director, it's a near 40 number, because we're approaching 30 directors at this point. We've had multiple planning and zoning directors. We've had multiple DOT directors. We've had multiple finance directors. We've had multiple communication directors. We've had multiple stormwater directors. Now, those organizations that I just mentioned that are within the Rockdale County government are critical divisions within the Rockdale County government that make a difference in the growth, what we're going to do in Rockdale County, how we're going to do it in Rockdale County. And we've not had any stability in those positions in the last 6 years. And there are reasons that you have that many people that leave the county in those positions. So, of course, toxic workplace would be one reason. And I think it is an extremely toxic workplace, the Rockdale County Board of Commission. Extremely toxic workplace. But I think the biggest reason of this the fear of liability. I believe these directors and deputy directors have fled Rockdale County because they know a bunch of bad things are going on. They know that the county elected officials are making very bad decisions, and they know it's not for the benefit of the citizens. And this group of individuals will drop a bus on somebody in a heartbeat. So you've had these directors, once they see the bad decisions that are being made, and they see, oh my God, this can be thrown back on me. You see them run for the hills as fast as they can. In my opinion, that is the reason we have had the biggest turnover that we've had, is because of liability. These individuals are terrified that they are going to be the ones holding the bag for bad decisions that these elected officials make, knowing it's going to impact you, the voter and taxpayer, negatively. That's what we have going on. You've got these elected officials making these terrible decisions, bad decisions, and these bureaucrats are running for the hills, abandoning these positions because they don't want to be left holding the bag. And we're not talking about cheap positions. All of these director positions are six-figure salary positions now. So you've had 26, 27 people leave six-figure salary positions out of fear. The fear of they will be the ones holding the bag for bad decisions. And some of these decisions at some point could possibly be criminal. They could be, possibly. So, and then you've got Sherry Washington now, and she's out here, got a committee talking about the affordable housing crisis we have in Rockdale County. I'm not certain that we have an affordable housing crisis in Rockdale County. I think we have a taxation crisis, a property tax crisis in Rockdale County, which has caused an inflated housing market in Rockdale County, inflated housing prices. But I don't think we have a bunch of people that are homeless in Rockdale County. And then all of these places that they're building, and there's a lot of things that are already built, and they're empty. People aren't moving into them. They're not selling them. Well, these developers are at some point are going to sell these facilities. They're going to drop them. They're going to unload them to someone. And then when they do that, you're going to have affordable rental homes for somebody. You're going to end up creating neighborhoods that you don't want in Rockdale County. That's exactly what's going to happen with this bundle of expansion in townhomes and apartments that we have going on right now in Rockdale County. We're going to have neighborhoods develop that we wish we didn't have developed in this county. And this is the thing about it, people. We can't turn the clock back on this nonsense because it's already in motion. The places are being built. You know, that's what I think we can hope for the most is that these ones that aren't under development yet, they see the difficulty that the ones that have already started are having selling these things, and they push back and they don't develop, similar to how we had a lot of things that were going to develop back in 08 and 09, and then they got halted because, you know, and then also interest rates are starting to skyrocket. So people aren't going to be able to afford those loans. And then homeowner and people who you hope were going to buy them as investors, they're not going to be able to purchase those homes. And Charlotte says, you know, investors will buy them. At some point, you know, investors stay away when interest rates are so high. And you'll go back in the 8 and 9, you had properties all over America that just sat vacant because interest rates were so high and people didn't want to do them. So, you know, Bill says 4,000 new homes, 12 to 14,000. Bill, I don't think we're going to have that 12 to 14,000 people, because I don't think that this is something that's viable and successful. I actually think we're going to have a bunch of places built that the grass is going to grow over. I don't know if they're going to rent them, because rent is so high in Rockdale County now. So are we actually going to have people that could afford the high rent and afford the high payments move to Rockdale County with what's going on in Rockdale County? I don't think we will. I actually do not think we will. But you and I are going to be on the hook for all this nonsense tax-wise. You and I are going, we just now had the city of Conyers raise their budget 15%. So that means taxes are going to have to raise to compensate for that budget. The Board of Education is, they've done their budget. I'm not certain what the percent is, but they're going to raise their budget. So that's going to mean that there's going to have to be a tax increase there to pay for that increased budget. Now, we all know the Board of Commission never met a budget they didn't raise. So these guys are going to raise their budget, and then you and I are going to get hit with additional tax increases so that they can fund their additional budget. So what are we looking at in Rockdale County? A minimum 30 to 60% across the board increase when you look at all three of these entities, depending on where you live. So guys, when it gets June in Rockdale County, between June and September, that's a terrible time for us, because that's tax increase season. That's when these characters start having their millage rate hearings, and you and I get thrown to the wolves. And that's what's getting ready to happen right now. Tina, you asked me about what's the news about Sherry. We're still doing our due diligence with that, because when we break this, it's very impactful, and what we're going to eventually say really needs to be verified multiple times. It needs to be documented, because it's very impactful, and we just want to make sure that what we say is accurate, and that there's no way that the Washington can come back and say that we've made something up. That's what we're wanting to do. So Bill just mentioned $110 million for the admin complex. Mentioned that on the Facebook chat, guys. And that goes along with the 140 judicial complex supposedly. And I said, the PFA, and they've made this an administrative complex with a side of judicial. If we all remember back in 2018, it was the rallying cry: the courthouse, the courthouse, the courthouse. They're going to shut it down. We've got to do now. The courthouse ain't so much an issue as much as the admin building. Courthouse is taking a backseat. Now, we want to do a little courthouse something, but we really want to build an admin building. That was the reality in it in 2018. In 2018, they really wanted all that money to build an admin building, and doing it under the ruse of the judicial emergency, the judicial crisis. So they were playing the judicial system, the judges, but even one of the judges, when the courthouse committee went and met with them back in 2019, told them that a $25 to $40 million courthouse complex would never be built, because there was not enough money to go around to make it worthwhile to investors. The judge said that'll never happen, because there's not enough money. The SPLOST that just ended and the SPLOST that's just beginning, that when you have the overage of those two SPLOST, it'll be in the neighborhood of $80 million if you combine both of them. More than enough money to have used SPLOST to build a complex at Parker Road. More than enough money. So, guys, and I've said this once, twice, a million times, we do not have a money problem in Rockdale County. We have a spending problem in Rockdale County. We have a greed problem in Rockdale County, and we have a motivation problem in Rockdale County. Because our problem is what is actually motivating these elected officials, because it's not representing you. It's not doing the best thing for you, because the majority of the things they do actually harm you, and they're the worst thing for you. So as citizens of Rockdale County, what is your recourse? Your recourse is to not elect these clowns. Your recourse is to not vote them back in office. Your recourse is to vote a new group of individuals in and say, we want this. If those individuals don't follow through with what you've asked, then you get rid of those individuals. That is your recourse. Your recourse is the ballot box. Your recourse is quit electing the same people to office when they've done nothing but let you down, disappoint you, and actually harm you. Because that's what these individuals have done. They have committed atrocities against you. They have harmed you, the citizen of Rockdale County, over and over and over again. I'm going to leave you on another note tonight about fake awards. The Rockdale County Board of Commission has graciously awarded themselves another fake award. So they belong to this organization, the GFOA, which is an organization that serves 20,000 government agencies over the United States and Canada. So they've been given an award for the 2021 fiscal year for finance reporting. It doesn't say fiscally responsible finances. It doesn't say spending your money the best way they could. It says it's for finance reporting. They're just reporting how bad they're screwing you and how bad they're mismanaging your money, but because they're reporting it, they did a great job at reporting it. And this fake agency, which they pay dues to, has given them an award. Now, if you pay dues to somebody, they're going to print out a certificate and they're going to give you that award. That's what they do. So yet the Rockdale County Board of Commission has once again received another fantastic fake award given to themselves by the CFOA for excellence in financial reporting. It doesn't say excellence in financial spending or financial governance, with financial reporting. It's just they've supposedly reported every dime that they stole from you. So that's what I got tonight, people. It's just, when these guys give out their fake awards to themselves, like the Board of Education, they gave Terry Oaks a fake award a month ago. Some sort of great superintendent award, right? They're going to give themselves some sort of outstanding Board of Education award here in the near future. The Board of Commission is going to give themselves some sort of stupid award. City of Conyers is going to award themselves some awards and tell you all about it and put it in the Rockdale Citizen. I may even award myself something and put it in the, Rockdale Citizen, number one talk media show in Rockdale County. If I say it, it's true, because who's going to dispute it? Somebody might dispute it, but I awarded it, so it's got to be true, right? I gave myself the award, so it's got to be true. Guys, don't let this nonsense go any longer. I've talked to you about this. I've named you all this stuff. I've talked to you in detail. What is wrong? What's the motivation? Just think about it long and hard. What's the motivation? And then what's your motivation to make a change? Folks, it's been a pleasure as always. I look forward to next week. Together we can make a difference. We can reset Rockdale and we can make change happen. Thank you and good night, and I will see you next Sunday